things in this scenario. So basically, what is the current scenario? Is your sales process dependent on face-to-face calls? So you can write in the chat box.
Manish, I'm going to mute everybody once, and
Okay.
then you will have to unmute yourself because I think we're getting some background noise.
Okay.
All right, Manish, now please unmute yourself.
Thanks. So how critical is for you to adapt yourself from face-to-face to virtual selling? So let me tell you the scenario. I have been born and brought up and in the culture of face-to-face selling. Whenever I was sitting in my office or even my team member were sitting in the office in sales team, we used to say, what are you doing? You're wasting your time by sitting in the office. You need to be in the field. You need to go and sell, right? Sitting in the office meant that you are not selling. Now the scenario has completely changed. And we are asked to sit at home, and even the clients will not give the meetings. So the total scenario is changed. So today my presentation will also talk a little bit about selling skills from a virtual selling environment. We'll try to touch a little bit on that area also. So would you like your sales call to be effective even in a virtual environment? I think the answer to this question is yes only. So before we move forward, I have only 2-3 points to make. Number one, whenever we do any important event or any good thing in our house or in our office, what do we do first? I think we do prayers, we do puja. Whenever we do something in a government office, any major event in the government office starts with what? It starts with a national anthem. Any training program will not be complete if we don't start with the belief system. So we talk about the belief system before we attempt to sell well or sell effectively or do power selling. So what is our belief system? I'll share a small story here with you on the belief system. Vishal, am I audible? Am I going fine?
Super fine. Thank you. Super
Great.
fine.
So there is a story like this. There were 105 trainees who were recruited and they were supposed to go into army training. They were the freshly recruits. They were equally competent. They were of the same educational qualifications. They had passed all the fitness tests, etc. They were at the same level, 105. They were supposed to clear 4 subjects and there were 4 different instructors which were allotted to them, and they had to pass, they had to get the marks in 4 different subjects and the total marks would be done. Now, the person who was handing over these 505 new trainees to the respective instructors in 4 different subjects made some changes as far as their instructions were concerned. In army, there is something called as command potential. How good you are in command potential in terms of your energy, in terms of your decision making, in terms of your agility, in terms of your swiftness, and in terms of your physical endurance. So he just rated randomly 1/3 of those 105 people as high command potential, 1/3 people as average low command potential, and 1/3 people as unknown command potential. So 1/3 as high command potential, 1/3 as low command potential, and 1/3 as unknown potential. He just labeled 35 of them, each one of them as this category, although all of them were of the same capability and competence. Now, once the training was over, 6 months were over and the results were out, you guess what were the results? In all the 4 subjects, out of those 105, can you guess? And I will request you to use your chat box here. Can you guess who were the top performers?
All right, we have few responses. I'm going to read that. Mulu says those who were rated high Rajneesh says the top bunch. Satish says rated high potential. We have DV who says those with a high command potential. Most of us feel that it's the high command
Correct.
potential who perform better.
Thanks, Mulu, Rajneesh, and Satish. Actually, your answer is correct. The people who were labeled as top, having high CP, command potential, came out mostly as top performers. Any reason for that? The reason is basically the non-verbals. The instructor believed that these are my best guys. The kind of inputs that would have gone to them were maybe of a higher nature, or even the non-verbals that were gone were of a higher nature. Even the trainees who were labeled as high command potential also had a self-belief that they are better performers. So basically this theory was invented by a person called as Doi Eden in Tel Aviv. He gave the name of this theory as Pygmalion effect. That what is this Pygmalion effect? When we believe that, just a minute. When we believe that we or someone has the ability to be a top performer, our belief becomes reality most of the time. The performance expectation we have for us or from our team members is a self-fulfilling prophecy prediction. So basically, this is what Pygmalion effect is. Why I brought this in today's time is, if we believe in us, if we believe in our system, if we believe in our customers, if we believe in the environment positively, things will become more positively because my non-verbals, my vibrations, and my energy flows in that direction. If we believe that something is not going to work, most of the time it does not work, which is expressed beautifully by Doi Eden in another theory. Have you heard of a theory called as Golem effect, which is evil cousin of Pygmalion? So what is Golem effect? It is a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. It is the opposite of Pygmalion effect. If we believe when we expect low performance or expectations kickstart a negative spiral that leads to low performance. Right? So we believe in ourselves or in our team members or in the customer that he is not going to buy. This is not going to happen. I'm going to be a failure. My team member is going to be a failure. What happens? It rubs on that negative spiral effect on the other person. Somehow or the other, we don't come to know about it. So may I request people to write in their chat boxes, those who have not heard, have you ever heard about Golem effect? If you have heard about Golem effect, write yes. If you have not heard about Golem effect earlier, write no. Yes or no, depending if you have heard out on the Golem effect. Vishal, you have to help me in getting the names who have written yes or no. No prizes for the people who are writing yes, and no prizes for the people who are writing no or yes. Just we want to know how many people know this Golem effect.
Sure. Most of us say that they're not very familiar with the name.
Okay.
Okay. Ashish most probably is familiar. Rest of
Fantastic.
us are not very familiar with that.
Great. So I think we learned a new thing. Why I brought this into picture is now here is the secret, or here is the key what I'm going to share with you. If people believe that I am the best, like in DPS school, they have a section. They put all the best performing students in that section, and they have A to J section, and maybe the last section is the people who are not very great performers. Now to bring a good performance out of a good lot is definitely desirable. Now, coming back to my story on the trainees, do you think out of those 105 trainees, 35 trainees who were labeled as high command potential, do you think all 35 were in the top 35 bracket, or most of them were in the top 35 bracket? So since it is a webinar, I will not elicit too many responses. Let me give you the answer. Obviously, most of them were the top performers, but some of the people with higher command potential also scored low. The people who were labeled as low command potential obviously were the low scorers overall, but there were few of them, exceptions out of them, who were labeled as low command potential, but who came out with a winning colors, who were winners, who were in the top performers. There were exceptions. Now, in today's time, in today's adverse environment, in today's depressing environment, my message is, how can we create winners even out of golem effect? Creating winners out of, somebody has to mute the background, please.
Sorry, Manish. I've muted everybody. Now you
Yeah.
can manually unmute yourself and start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So are you getting me? Are you getting me, friends? If we are labeled as high performers or my environment is good, I have chances to succeed. If my environment is not good, if I am not labeled as high performer or my people are not good, my prospecting is not available, my customers are less, I'm in a golem effect and I will not perform. But the trick is, how do I perform better even in a golem effect, even when the things are adverse for me? This is my message. This is our belief system I wanted to touch upon. So let's move forward. So I'm coming straight away to our sales. Let me tell you how I have structured this sales session. Basically, to be honest with you, I have prepared this session a little differently. I have borrowed from Tom Hopkins, Brian Tracy, Spin Selling, which is Hathwaite Research Group. I have borrowed from Jeffrey Gitomer, from NIS Sparta, from my earlier, one of the companies where I worked earlier in NIS Sparta, Xerox Limited, which was pioneer in sales. And so a little bit from Bible and Gita. So you will not find it as a straightforward presentation on sales, that there is a, what do we do in the beginning and the end. So I have structured it differently, and I have done some research with all these with all these inputs, and I'm sure you will find it valuable. So I'm straight away jumping to the first step in the sales. What is the first step in the sales? If you can use the chat box and share with me, what is the first step in the sales? Vishal, please help me out.
All right, I have a few responses.
Yeah.
Sunday says prospecting. Rajni says identify prospects. Raghav says analysis. Ashish says kind mapping. Rajesh says identification. Nisha says lead generation and database creation. Preparation and suspecting is basically what Tarun and Manas say.
Absolutely. Most of you are correct. There can be different sales processes. There are different ways the sales processes is defined. Sorry, my presentation is giving me a little trouble. So basically, the first step I am taking, all of you are correct, because prospecting can be a part of the first step. So many steps can be there, suspecting, prospecting. I'm using my own tool. You all of you are correct, but I'm using this sales process where pre-sales preparation, PSP, is the first step, which is homework. We do homework for everything and anything. That is what I mean by pre-sales preparation. And in pre-sales preparation, what all is covered? Basically, we cover knowledge. We need to have knowledge about the company, product, and competition, CPC. We have application of this knowledge, which is skill. And the kind of effort and the kind of attitude we possess is basically my pre-sales preparation. And obviously suspecting, prospecting. So basically two things, knowledge and prospecting. Now, moving forward, let me ask you, if we are happy and if we are successful, or something good has happened, or during the birthday, what do we do? How do we celebrate in our house or in office? Can you write in the chat box? How do we celebrate our success, our happiness? Whiskey. Correct.
Okay.
House whiskey, office cake. I'm sure it is not the other way around. Dipan says whiskey, cake. Rajneesh says share it with friends and relatives. Raghav says cake cutting. Mulu says go on a date. Lisa says food. So many things. But one thing is very common. One thing is common all across all the parties, all across the happiness is basically have a party. Satish says a drink. The drink time is not yet there. We'll celebrate around 6 o'clock. Recognize personal effort, share happiness. Definitely, yes, all of you are correct. So one thing which is very common we use while we celebrate is basically cut a cake. Success, we cut a cake. Okay, so on a success, we cut a cake. So how I defined cake as like this. K-A-K-E-E. Do you get it? Now, K stands for knowledge, AK stands for application of the knowledge, and E stands for effort. Right? So to get success, we need to have our cake. That means we need to have knowledge, application of the knowledge, and our effort should be full. Then we get success. So those who agree with it, can you write agree, agree? If you don't agree, write do not agree in your chat box. Wonder Turan says wonderful. Rajesh says agree. Arindam says agree. Rajneesh says agree. Turan says agrees. Ashish says agree, agree. Manas says yeah. So thanks for the responses. If I missed out a name, please pardon me for that. So definitely yes, cake is equivalent to our success. Now I will not invite you on a chat box, but maybe respectively in your own mental frame of mind or in your respective copies, can you do me a favor? If on a rating scale of 1:10, can you write in your respective fields, those who are in sales, because I understand people who are attending this session are selling something, or if they are not selling something, then they may not do this activity. Those who are doing active selling, can you write on a rating scale of 1:10, where do you rate your knowledge? Right? So on your own, no need to write on a chat box. Knowledge on a rating scale of 1:10. Knowledge means knowledge about your product, company, customer, market, competition. Similarly, on a rating scale of 1:10, please give marks to yourself on application of the knowledge, which is skill. How much skill do you possess? So I may know how to prepare a mango shake, but when I use a mixie, I struggle. So that means I don't have a skill to use a mixie, but on paper, I know how to use a mixie. Right? These days examples will come from house only because we are doing all these things. And effort, how much effort are you putting in the job? On a rating scale of 1:10, if 10 is the 100% effort which is required, do you think how much percentage of the effort you have put on a rating scale of 1:10? I hope most of you have given the rating to yourself on knowledge, application of the knowledge, and the effort which you are putting. Can you multiply it? Can you multiply all three of them? Yes, friends. Do you get a score once you multiply all of them? Knowledge, application of the knowledge, and effort. You get a particular score. Yeah. So say, for example, even if it is theoretical, I rate myself on knowledge as 7 in my field. I rate my skills in my field as 7 on a rating scale of 10. And I rate the effort which I'm putting in my job or in my area is 80%, which is 8 out of 10. The total score is 392. Now, if I request whatever scores you have put is correct, you're right, because that is your business, that is your company, that is your department. Now, if I request each one of you to increase whatever rating, unless and until you have given 10 out of 10, then it is fine with me. Then it cannot go further. The highest score one can get is 10 into 10 into 10 is 1000. Right? Is there anyone who has got 1000 here? If he has got 1000, please write. Yes. Otherwise, we proceed further. Is there anyone who has got 1000 here? 10 into 10 into 10? Then we need to take a session from you. Anyone who has got 1000? No. That is an ideal situation. Okay. So if we increase now here is a point. There is a second message for the day. The second message is if we increase it by 10%, whatever number we have given to ourselves, just 10% in terms of our knowledge, in terms of our application of the knowledge, in terms of our effort which we are putting in. That is my cake. Suppose I increase by 10 to 12, 15%, 8 into 9. It goes up to 576. You know how much percentage increase in the success I've got? I have got almost 50% jump in my success by increasing my knowledge, skill, and the effort which I put in. By 10 to 15%, I get a 50% jump. It may sound theoretical, but my dear friends, unless we know the theory, practical is not going to happen. So we need to raise our effort and invest in upgrading our knowledge and skill. That's my second message of the day. Now, if those who have liked it, and can you write cool on your chat box if you have liked it, this formula? Cool or super cool, whatever you want to write. Ashish says cool, Nisha says cool, Manas says cool, Rajesh says cool, Melisande says very good, Vishwajit says cool, Turan, Ashish cool, Mohnish, Raghav super cool, Satish cool, really good. Great, I think we have got good. Rajnish says good, Liza says good. Great. Thank you, Prakash, Praveen. You have also said cool. So let's have cake and eat it too. Increase our cake, increase our pie. That's the second message. Now, just to summarize, what are the two messages which we have shared so far? I'll summarize myself rather than asking you people to summarize. One message is that definitely, yes, we need to be in the top 10 or in the top 100 or in the top bracket in the Pygmalion effect. If not, even we have to be more successful, even if we are surrounded by the golem effect. And today the environment is golem, which is pessimistic, depressing, and virtually no customers around, virtually no money around. Still, I have to come as a winner. That's the first message. Second message is let's have cake and eat it too. Great. So we move forward. Now, importance of pre-sales preparation is virtual environment. I'll just run through these points. My understanding is this is a very important time for people who are having good substance and have got good subject matter knowledge and are very solid, because fly-by-night sales operators will give way to thorough professionals, right? Why? Because the client can see through us, because we are sharing almost everything in writing or being recorded on telephone. Earlier, I used to go face to face. I used to use a paper or an architect or maybe a banking or a credit card guy. He used to say anything to me. Where is the recording? What does he say? Today, when we are not meeting face to face, everything on telephone can be recorded, or my webinar or my video call is being recorded. And so it is a time for people who are solid, people who are having cake. Today is a time to showcase your knowledge and skills. That's why I brought that. PSP was always important, homework, but this is the most important time today, and hollow people will lose and people who are solid will win. Whatever extent, whatever customers, whatever availability is there in the market, they will get more than the hollow people. Okay, I hope all of us agree to it. Moving forward, the second, a lot of you had said prospecting. Definitely, yes, I am. Sorry, let me just cover this again. So what is important today is let's do our homework. Let's have scripts. Let's prepare Excel charts, data, information beforehand, and anticipate questions. Now, salespeople have a habit of saying that I will do it. They are overconfident sometimes. They say, I remember when I started my insurance career, it was said any agent or any sales manager in insurance who has got more knowledge will not be successful. कि ज़्यादा knowledge लेकर ये कुछ नहीं करेगा, सिर्फ postmortem करेगा, He will be only doing some analysis and paralysis. But what I'm talking about is almost 15 years back, 18 years back, times have changed, my dear friends. That's not the way. I don't agree to it anymore. I think knowledge is important. Today, even the doctors complain that when people go to them, they see a Google and they start with a particular platform. They have a platform and they start from a particular level. Even my doctor tells me many a times when I'm asking question, he says, there is a lot of rush with me. I have told you basic, I've written here, go and search Google and read about it, about this medicine or any questions you have. If you are still having no don't get complete information, then give me a call. Otherwise, Google will tell you. So what I'm saying is today knowledge is important. Understanding ourselves, our product, our services, our customers, our market is very important. Okay, and you need to prepare these things beforehand. You cannot say that भाई बोल रहा है, सच बोल रहा है, भाई पे ट्रस्ट कर. होता है ना सेल्स में, हम कहते हैं भाई पे ट्रस्ट कर यार, मैं बैठा हूं ना यहाँ पर, ये मैं बैठा हुआ नहीं चलने वाला अभी, वो तो चलेगा बट मैं बैठा हुआ के पीछे होमवर्क भी होना चाहिए. That's my message. So we need to structure our information and we need to practice our presentation or practice our pitch. That's the message. It was always there, but it is more relevant today. Okay, now moving on. As far as pre-sales preparation is concerned, the second step in the pre-sales preparation is prospecting, as most of you have said. Now, if you ask me in today's scenario, although I have only inbuilt few minutes for my prospecting, but if you ask me what is the most important thing in the whole presentation or in whole selling skills, I think it is prospecting, prospecting, prospecting. Like in one movie, Vidya Balan said, entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. We say prospecting, prospecting, prospecting. There are days even with us sometimes in my previous career, in my previous companies, in my earlier companies, and I come across many people, they tell me that when we get up in the morning, sometimes we don't have anything to do. We don't know whom to call. We don't know where to go. We do some follow-up calls of the previous sales calls or previous things, but that's it. The customer gets irritated. So basically it's easier said than done. We need to have pipeline. Prospecting is a process of continuously getting them. Just a second. Looking for people who are interested and have the buying power to purchase our product and service. Now, how do we get data for prospecting? Right? We all know I'm taking it through a little faster this process because I'll tell you why. There are two sources of prospecting. One is primary and one is secondary. Primaries are people whom we know, and secondary market we generate from observations and from various yellow pages observations, from reference from the people in the market, etc. But primary market is like people whom I know, whom I can write the name. Like the best example I can give today is in a marriage today into COVID environment, you have to invite only 50 people. So who will be your top 50 people whom you will invite? So that 50 people will maybe kind of your primary market. So different companies can have different prospecting list, P200, P100, P50, P30, P20, depending on the industry, whether it is pharma industry, credit card industry, hotel industry, or an automobile industry or insurance industry. You have your different prospecting list, and then you can draw a tree of the prospecting. Again, if you ask me, there is no formula for prospecting. The only formula is the effort. जितनी चीनी डालोगे उतनी चाय मीठी होगी. जितना आप एफर्ट करोगे, जितना आप सोचोगे, जितना आप लोगों से बातचीत करोगे, उतना ही prospecting लिस्ट आएगी. जितना आप टाइम स्पेंड करोगे. Sorry for my Hindi, but the amount of time invested is equivalent to the pipeline which you generate. Right? Another tip I can give you, which I learned over a period of time, whatever you are busy, wherever you are busy, right? You have to spend 2 hours, 3 hours on daily basis. And the first thing in the morning or maybe whatever time suits you, anyone, we need to do prospecting in our primary market, secondary market. No prizes for guessing. Primary market yields better results, right? Our reference markets gives us better results. Okay. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? Yeah, Dipan has said prospecting is a fuel that keeps you in business. Great, thank you. Turan says good one. Prospecting is a fuel that keeps you in business. Oh, both of you have given the same statement. So any questions so far? Any concerns so far? Great. I move forward. Just a minute. Let me come back to my slide. In the interest of the time, I will like to skip one few things and come down to some of the more impactful things in my presentation. But just I'll run down on these points rather than asking questions. Today, what is less important in telephone calls, especially in telephone calls? Grooming, body odor, polish shoes. I remember when we started the career on, I've done so many of workshop and my colleagues have done so many workshops on grooming. Now grooming will take a little bit of backseat in for the next 6 months at least. We used to invest so much in bags, folders, pens, physical brochures, right? There was a time when BlackBerry was a craze and people used to show BlackBerry and a Rolex watch or a Mont Blanc pen, etc. Abhi, even in my presentation, where do I show my watch? Where do I show my pen? Where do I show my shoes? Whether I'm wearing shoes or not, and or whether you are wearing shoes or not is not seen, right? So things have changed. The body language was greatest assets. हम कहते थे भगवान ने हमें शक्ल और बॉडी ऐसी दी है कि इसी से इंप्रेस कर लेंगे कस्टमर को. अभी क्या इंप्रेस करें मुझे खुद नहीं पता मैं कैसा दिख रहा हूं. Honestly speaking, I am seeing a small screen on a window of Manish Jain. How I am looking, only you people can tell, but still, and it's through a virtual meeting, right? And how do you give a greeting card and shake hands with the customer? So many workshops has happened on this. So many people have earned their livelihood on these workshops. Now, where is a greeting card? Where will you shake hands with the customer? Okay. So what is more important today? This may be a repeat. You need to focus on how to say as well as what to say. More emphasis on verbal and vocal communication, though non-verbal is also important, but less important. We need to set the agenda and we need to do the meaningful opening and structure the call. Okay, so far so good. So can you write SFSG? So far so good, short form SFSG in the chat box, so I know that we are on the right track. SFSG. If it is going. Nisha says SFSG, Millicent said SFSG, Jyoti says FSSG. Great. I think Dipan, Raghav, thanks Dipan, Raghav, Praveen, Ashish, great. So just let me flip my presentation. Okay, so opening the call, there is a telephone script which we need to follow. I'm just putting it because of the paucity of time. I'm putting the steps. Most of you might be seniors here or maybe experienced. So this may be a very basic thing for you. Those who are newcomers, because in the open session, there is a challenge whether we should put a basic or a middle or an advanced presentation. So I've tried to put in few steps. We introduce ourselves, we identify ourselves, we greet, we ask the permission to continue, we give the reason of our call, and continue for the next appointment on telephone or face-to-face or a video calling. So this is the basic structure of a call. So just to give you an example, I put in a sample script. Morning, good afternoon. Is it Mr. Vishal? So assuming that we are getting yes from the other side, your reference was given by Mr. Samir of XYZ company. So we greeted the person, we identified the person, we gave the reference. Suppose this is a reference call. My name is Manish Jain from Trust First Bank, which is one of the best service provider bank in the country. Is it good time to continue? So we seek the permission to continue. Sir, we work in the area of helping people to protect their hard-earned savings from the threat of expenses incurred due to unforeseen circumstances. In order to provide you customized services and understand your requirements, if any, we would like to spare 15-20 minutes of your time. Sir, can we meet tomorrow at 11 AM or 3 PM on Thursday would be better. So once he gives a time, suppose if there is no hiccups in between, thanks a lot. I shall be sharing meeting details with you for this day at this time. So this is an ideal call, a theoretical and ideal call. Sorry. Okay, so I go back to the script. Basically, what is important is identify prospect, greet, permission to continue, reason of the call, request to continue the call or appointment, next time, date. Vishal, is my screen on sample telephone script?
I think I just lost it for a second.
Okay, no problem. Can anyone tell me on the chat box, is my screen on the telephone script, sample telephone script opening the call? Because I pressed some button here, so I just want to cross check.
Yes.
Great, great. Thank you so much. So this is just a sample script. I've spent just 5 minutes on this, but it requires a workshop of at least 2 hours or 3 hours. How to practice on opening the call. It will not be that simple. Customer is not going to say yes, yes, yes at every point of time. There'll be questions, there will be objections in the beginning, but definitely this is the most simple one because we start with the simple one first. Okay, now this is the most important thing. How do we understand customer? This I wanted to impress upon. How do we understand customer need? So I think if we cover this, I think we have done a good thing in our presentation. So I have placed 3 things in our understanding customer need. Once we get an appointment with the customer, we need to understand the customer need. So I've divided into 3 parts. One is a golden rule. And the second is seeking. And the third is listening. So what is the golden rule? Do unto others as you would like them to do to you. What does it mean? Basically, it is taken from Bible. Treat all others as you would like to be treated by them. More than that, treat all others as God has treated you. So when we are trying to understand customer needs, are we trying to understand the customers? So what does it mean?
Manish, slide is not visible.
Slide is not visible?
Yeah.
I think Manish, you may have to reshare.
Okay, just a minute.
Sure.
Just a second. Just a second. Is it visible now? Understanding customer need? No?
Yeah, now it is visible, Manish.
Yes, yes.
So 3 things are coming: golden rule, seeking and listening.
I think Manish, your full screen pen ही दिखाई दे रहा है.
Okay. Just a minute.
I think you have to reshare.
Okay. Just a minute.
Slide show में डाल दीजिए, slide show में शायद में वो.
Okay. Is it now full screen?
Perfect.
Perfect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So there are 3 rules to understand customer needs. One is golden rule. Yeah. So first one is, let's try to understand the customer. What goes through the customer mind when he is buying any product or service? To understand the sales process, we need to understand the buying process. So basically, golden rule is, let me put myself in customer's shoes. Okay. So if you want everyone, let me just explain it to you. So you want people to understand you. So the customer also wants him to be understood by us, right? He also likes to get treated well. So basically, when we are trying to understand customer need, Are we putting ourselves in customer shoes? That is the message, right? So that is the golden rule. How to put yourself in customer shoes. What goes through customer's mind when he is buying any product or service? To understand the sales process, we need to first understand the buying process. Okay, so when you buy any product, what happens when we buy any product? Basically, this goes through us. We have a need, we evaluate options, we eliminate doubts, and we take a decision. Any doubts on this? Whenever we are a customer, we go through all these 4 process. We have a need and then we may have various options. My company is only one of the options with the customer. A customer may have objections, customer may have doubts, and then customer takes a decision. Are you able to see the screen? Just put yes in the chat box. Yes. So Rajnish says project and share. Is it being shared now, Rajnish? Yes. Great. Thanks. Right. So that is the buying process. So basically, the key to success is sales process is also similar to, it runs parallel to buying process. We open the call. If the customer has a need, we need to recognize the need. Customer has so many options. I'm just one of the option with the customer. Customer may have doubts. We need to overcome the objections and the doubts of the customer. Customer will take a decision. Then only closing will happen. So that is what basically this slide is normally put up first thing in any sales process. That opening the call, how do we recognize the customer need? How do we propose a solution? How do we overcome objections and how do we close the call? So, but I thought I'll bring it a little bit later on. Why? Because when we are talking about understanding customer needs, are we on the same step where the customer is? Customer has a need. Are we able to pinpoint the customer need? We are just one of the options with the customer. Customer has got thousands, maybe 10, 15, 20 other options. Why should he choose us as one of the options? That is what we need to understand. Ultimately, what does the customer want? So let's cut short everything. Customer wants safety, assurance, happiness. Am I right? And to give safety, assurance and happiness to the customer, what do we need? We need to build trust and credibility. Am I right? If I'm making sense, just write yes on the chat boxes. Great. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. So basically customer wants trust and credibility. So the golden rule continues. What is the message? How many of you believe in your own product and will buy on your own? How excited are we about it? You got to buy what you sell. Customers buy your conviction, belief, passion, rather than the logic you give to them. Okay. Selling is 90% conviction and 10% communication and not the other way around. So let me explain it this way. If you are convinced about your product, about your services, that rubs on to the customer. Most of the time, being in sales, being in training industry, being in sales training, I've seen people are doing jobs which they don't want to do. It is thrusted upon them. No wonder the results are also very average. If we believe in our product and the services which we are providing and the conviction is good, it rubs on to the customer also. So that's the message. Now we can always say in India, we don't get to do what we love. So the other message is start loving it. If you don't get what you want to do and you want to do and you're not getting it, start loving what you have got. That's my message to everyone. So selling is 90% conviction and 10% communication and not the other way around. Okay. Do you know that customer is afraid of you and they do not want to be sold? You should come across as a consultant or a subject matter expert, right? Nobody wants to meet a sales guy, salesy. They want to meet a consultant, an expert, right? And if we are not convinced with what we are doing, the customer sees through it. So the message is do unto others as what you want them to do to you. If we want people to be fair to us, let us be fair to people. If we want people to tell us the right things or give us the right product, let us also give the right product and the solutions to the customer. So that is the golden rule number 1. So what was the golden rule number 2? So golden rule number 1 was, understanding customer rule 1 was, let me understand the customer first and try to work around it. Number 2 is seeking. So seeking, research has said in successful sales call, basically this is borrowed from spin selling, which is a Hathwaite research group. You can say their domain area. Customer talks more than the seller. Seller is seeking is higher than the giving. So unless we understand the customer need, how we are going to work. However, when selling, most people talk too much, don't seek enough. So we need to understand the customer requirement. We need to make the customer speak. We need to understand from the customer what are his requirements. That's the most important thing. So you remember what were the 3 things in understanding the need? Let us do to the customer. Let us see what do we want from our seller. Let's give it to our customers. Let us be genuine. Number 2, let's seek. Let's ask questions. Let's understand the customer requirement. And number 3. Sorry, I'm running. Listening. So there are 3 things which we do in understanding customer need. Let me be genuine. Number 2, let me seek. Number 3, let me listen. Listening is a very important skill. Customer always gives cues. Even in this presentation, or some of my colleagues, some of my friends are there in this presentation are from previous industry. We know that even while presenting or even while selling, we seek a lot of questions. We participate, we make people engage. But due to paucity of time and in this workshop, we are seeking lesser and we are giving more, which is against the rule of even presentation or rule of the sales. So we should listen more. Now, some of the sample questions, I'm going back, the power of seeking. So what were the 3 steps in understanding customer? Let's do to the customer, let's behave, let's understand the customer as if what we want the customer, if we want others to understand us, let me also understand the customer. Number 2, let's seek. Number 3, let me listen. So when we are seeking, we can ask permission and we need to have some of the sample questions I'm giving for seeking, which will, I think, help all of us. Sorry. Can you see the screen? What are your what you are most concerned about? Please share your past experiences about it, good or bad. What is that you are looking for? What are your goals and plans for the future? What will help you meet your need? Please help me understand your decision criteria, right? So we need to understand from the customer what are his requirements, what is he looking for, what is important to him, what is hurting him, what will help him, and then place my product as per the gap or as per the understanding which he has shared with me. So I like to go back to one previous slide. Sorry for my going back, just because that's a master slide. Just a minute. This one, how to put yourself in customer shoes. Not this one, sorry. Yeah, golden rule. Do unto others as you would like them to do to you. Number 2, seeking. Number 3, listening. In seeking, we have shared some of the sample questions. How do we seek? How do we probe? There are different names of this. Some people say seeking, some people say probing, some people can say questioning, whatever different names we say, but we need to ask, we need to understand the customer requirement and we need to listen side by side. So these are the 3 steps. Put yourself in customer shoes. Number 2, I repeat, seek. Number 3, listen attentively, wholeheartedly. Listen to the verbal cues, listen to the non-verbal cues. And today, non-verbal cues are very important. Now, let me also listen to your non-verbal cues. I am speaking for last 10 minutes uninterrupted, which is against the law of presentation or law of selling. So may I seek some responses from some of you? Is it clear? Does it make sense to you? Is there anything which is not clear? Can you just write if it is clear, if it has made sense? Can you write make sense? If it does not, you can write does not. So make sense or does not? I elicit two responses, make sense or does not. Make sense. Krishnamurthy says make sense. Dipan says make sense. Rajneesh says make sense. Jyoti says make sense. Manas says make sense. Himgiri says make sense. Sorry if I pronounce some names incorrectly. Dipan says an attitude of helping the customer buy our product or service makes sense. Great. So I summarize this thing that in sales or when we are selling, let's put ourselves in customer shoes. Number two, let's seek, let's probe, let's ask questions to understand the customer requirement. Number three, unless and until we are in the listening mode, it is not going to help. Okay, let me just come back to my presentation. I'll just run in. We have covered these points. Last thing, sorry, I'm running out of time, but just 5 more minutes will be required and then we will have question answer sessions. Now, basically two things. If we are proposing a solution, so you remember the sales steps. First step was pre-sales preparation. Second step was, yeah, help me, opening the call, which is how I use my script. Second step was understanding the customer requirements. Third step was proposing the solution. Fourth step was objection handling, though objection can come anywhere. It's not that objections will come in the end or in this order, but maybe this is a sales model which is being run for ages, and then we close and then we do the post-sales follow-up. While we are proposing the solution, unless my solution is going to solve the customer problem or help customer meet his goal, I don't think anyone is going to buy. Okay, my solution, my product, my services should be able to, I'm repeating, be able to solve customer problem, current scenario, current situation, or is going to meet customer goals. He may have certain goals which we are going to meet up, right? And there can be objections in between. There can be closing and pre-commitment. So we are, I wanted to stress upon 3 points, 3 most important tips of the day. So we are coming to the close of the presentation. We are not covering objection handling. We are not covering closing, etc. Because I'll tell you why. I just take 2 more minutes. Spin selling, there is a spin selling. It says if we have done a sales call well, if we have understood the customer needs well, if we have established the rapport with the customer, if we are doing a good job, there will be hardly few objections and there will be smooth closing, right? So I'm not saying that we will not require to close the call, will not require, customer will not have objections. They will be there, but they will only come, objections will come when the customer is ready to buy. Customer is finding some value in your product. Customer is finding some value in our discussions. So if I just summarize the seminar, the first point we have covered is have your cake. Number 2, always be prospecting. Number 3, identify customer need or greed, which is the goals or a problem of the customer. If we are able to do these 3 things, the sales will be easier for us to be done. Otherwise, we will be competing with the customers, competitors. We will be putting the cart before the horse rather than putting the cart after the horse. So these are my few pointers. Now I open the forum for some question answer sessions, maybe through a chat box or maybe somebody can unmute. I would request my colleague who has really helped me in this presentation, to maybe help in getting those questions? Yeah, Vishal?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to kind of use the chat box or not. Manish will actually be sending you an email with the recap slides of the deck so that you can actually go through it, and it'll have Manish's contact details as well. You can directly get in touch with him and get the queries answered as well. We hope you had a good learning session. I am very quickly going to share a feedback link with you. If you get time, just spare a few minutes to kind of share the feedback with us as well.
So any questions, please? Anything which is not clear?
You can just write yes and no if you do not have any questions. We are done for the day.
No questions, no questions. How long a sales guy get to speak? Okay. Do you believe all those would be applicable in post-COVID? Okay, Dipan says no. Good session. Mulu says, okay, let me take the first question from Sanjay. How long a sales guy get to speak? So if I understand this question, you mean to say, as a sales guy, we don't get much time to speak. Am I right? Yeah, Sanjay, I'm requesting you to write down. Yes, okay. We don't get much time to speak. That's what you are saying. So, yeah, you are correct. Actually, it is said in sales call, for any disappointment, we need to have more appointments. Okay, so it's a tough business. I'm not saying it is easy. I've done it myself, and we need to have pipeline. Only I'm giving you maybe a different answer. Maybe what you are expecting is we need to have a pipeline, and there is always a success ratio in any sales call. Maybe 1:10, 1:20, 1:30, depending upon on the business. And sometime we may get 2 yeses together. Sometime we may not get 2 yeses. We may get after 20 no's. We need to know the average of our business, how many people I have to contact, and I'll get a yes. And depending on customer to customer, I have to take my sales call. But definitely one thing is correct. I'll share with you my experience and my experience of various companies where I've worked. Even if you don't seek, and if the customer is not willing to share, then also you don't get successful. If you just speak and give your pitch, it does not help. So maybe seeking sometimes will help most of the time. Okay. There was another question. Dipan has said in COVID times, how much kind of this is relevant. Yeah, see, definitely we are also learning, to be honest. Most of us are born and brought up all the entire community in face-to-face sales call. And so that's a challenge, but still, if you see overall the basic tenets, the basics of sales, the basics of discussions, the basics of any meeting will remain same. That let me understand the requirement and let me see how do I fit in my product to you. If you don't have a requirement, nobody is going to buy. So I will try my level best to understand the need from the other side, and I'll be genuine. You are 100% correct, Dipan, that in today's time, the fly-by-night operator, even I had put up there, or people who are hollow, or people who used to say, "Sir, मैं बैठा हूँ ना यहाँ पर, आप खरीद लो. I'm sitting here. I'm behind you." This is not going to work a lot, because a lot of things we are sharing on presentation, things are being recorded. We need to. So, but the other way side is also good. My understanding is, since it is too premature, too early for me to say, people who are solid, people who have got substance will get going. Now, when I have said so, if there is 100 people, 100 customers in the market, you are in that pie. But if that 100 in the pie, it gets reduced to 10, then you will get 10 out of the pie. I hope you understand what I'm saying. The overall market is down. Money is not there. People are afraid. We are trying to save our lives first. Okay. The customers are lesser. You will get the lesser customers out of the overall environment. But we cannot leave the basic tenets of sales, of seeking, of being solid in our discussions, because customer can see through us. Everything is in black and white. No glib talk, no sales call. Sir, मैं बैठा हूं ना, is not going to work. That's my understanding. So I hope I've tried to answer that question to the best of my ability. And anything else? So there are comments. Any question which we have? But we are in a culture where face-to-face is very valued and highly dependent on. Melisande has said. Yeah, you are right. That is going to happen, but we have to work around this phenomena. And it is really valued, but somehow we have to find a way. That's why these meetings are there. That's why new booting is required with the sales guys, with the or with anybody who is into business of meeting people. Why only sales guy? Even we are learning to be honest in training. Whatever presentations we have done. And do you think I'm 100% comfortable while doing this presentation? The way I used to give presentation, standing and delivering? There are no prizes for guessing, no. Because the kind of responses, the kind of body language we can see is not coming out. But as and when we go along, we are learning. That's my message to you. But we have to dovetail this in our system. Any questions? So just to summarize the presentation, since they're absolutely, Melisande says absolutely, I agree, Manish. I think we need to adapt this to a virtual platform. Rajneesh says, thanks for a great session. Thanks for your patience, audience. And I would request one thing from the audience. It's always good to give a good feedback, but we are also learning in this game. Two things I will admit upfront, which some of my friends know me, that I'm very transparent. And the word which they use for me is I'm very candid also, more than the transparent. We are also learning in virtual platform how to give presentation. So if you are feeling shy to give a feedback in open here, first of all, I don't mind giving a feedback in open to improve. If not, please give in my personal window any feedback which can improve our presentation, because we are also learning. We are a new kids on the block. Number two. Sales presentation, this I will, you have to take with a pinch of salt. Any sales presentation is a 3-day, is a 4-day game. Now to crush it in a 45-minute session is a tough task. So, but my 3 takeaways are there. My 3 takeaways, which I said was, know your product, know your customers, that cake piece which I had shared. Number 2, my second message was basically, we need to probe, we need to understand what the customer wants. And number 3 is basically, which I had shared in the slide, is, one is know my product, know my environment. Number 2 is always be prospecting. And because that's a thing it will be required the most today, and try to understand the customer need or greed or the goals, then fitting the solution will be little seamless, will be more seamless, not little seamless, will be more seamless. That is my message. So thank you very much. And big challenges for pharma guys, absolutely big challenge. They cannot go face to face, they cannot meet. There is an increase in sales of terms and annuities because of interest of rate fall. Super session. Manishji, thank you. You have been so generous, Dipan, but I think it could have been better, but thanks for your patience, audience, and thanks for a great inputs at all the points of time. Thanks for putting a lot of words in the chat box. And I think that's all from my side. So let us be selling. Let's get your last message is the sales guys also get used to the virtual platform a little bit more, because that will really help them in understanding the customer and in the sales. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Be safe and take care of yourselves in Amitabh Bachchan styles. Good, keep safe and keep going. Have a good day. Thank you.